Oh, Connie?
Yeah, I love the way all the houses are back there.
Well, Connie and Jerry let that grow. I mean, it was all marked grass until they built back there.
She's got it marked as a sanctuary, a wildlife sanctuary.
Well, I know she's responsible for it because I think they planted trees and then Freddie lets all that grow. And his mom and dad lived there. There were some lake trees.
Oh, I love to see it. I can probably see it then from my house.
The lake.
All right, welcome everybody. Before I call this meeting to order, I'd like to take a moment to ask for help from above. Heavenly Father, we pray for your guidance in our decisions in hopes that they will be the best interests of our town and for the people that we represent. Amen. I now call the May 2025 Darmstadt Town Council to order. Thank you all for coming. Please stand and join me for the allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And thank you all for coming. Has everybody gotten a copy of the minutes from the last meeting? And if so, do I have a motion to approve them?
All motion to approve.
I have a motion, second, and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at financial reports? And if so, do I have a motion?
All motion to approve the financial reports.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Second. And a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. And have we had a chance to take a good look at the bills since the last meeting?
All motion to pay the bill.
I have a motion to pay the bills and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Mallory, on to you.
I just got a text from Noah that he'll see us in about 10 minutes. He got delayed at this explosion on St. Joe.
I'm thinking make one of the houses move up. There's all the things they said, stay away. When we called you, there's been a hell of an explosion. They said.
We attended that AIM roundtable meeting in Montgomery on Wednesday, May 7th. That was a really good roundtable. We have those every quarter. And this time Oprah was there, NDOT was there. Our contact person with Oprah, which is the Community Rural Association, I forget what the O stands for, but Community Rural Association. Debbie Bennett used to be our contact there, but now our contact is Johnny Kincaid from the radio station. Yeah, and that meeting, so he was there, so I talked to him a lot. NDOT got up and did their presentation on the training that they offer through LTAP. And it goes through Purdue, it's free, and they really recommend that officials and street superintendents in particular take that online course. All of it's free, it's a ton of modules. I've finished about 3 modules, it took me about 4 days so far.
We did that a couple of years ago.
So, yeah, he said no one at Darmstadt is certified, so it's free if you want to get on there on LTAP and start that program. It'll take several months to be a road scholar, and then after you become a road, it's cute, they call it road scholar instead of road, and then you can be a master road scholar after that. It's all free. Last month, the town received tax revenues of $24,322 and spent $20,821, a difference of $3,500. The sewer utility, the sewer bills brought in $38,915, and the sewer department expenses were $83,900. So we had a difference of $44,000 last month. In the sewer department, we now have 200 people that signed up for auto pay, which is really good. We only have 550 accounts. The auto pay procedures are going a bit smoother now. It's taken several months to get some of the kinks out. We had few kickback when people did not submit their correct account numbers. But since then, I think most of those have gone through. Centerpoint is still messing up our bills. Remember when I told you guys they deleted all of them last June and we had to start from scratch? So Aaron caught about 32 where they're applying the money for this bill to this bill. You know, the wrong bills. Like the Colleen Road Sewer Station was $25, but Martin Road Sewer Station is 32, and they transposed them anyway. So I decided to pay them all online, one by one. Is our only way we can do it because we're not allowed to do auto pay. It took 7 hours over 3 days to pay 99 individual. So I can't do that every month, but I did it this one time just to try to get us back on track. We did receive the invoice from Bach Financial on the old state land bond. That's $75,000 that we have to pay in June, and then another $75,000 in December. We don't have that money right now in the bond account, so we have to wait till we get our June settlement in. So hopefully we'll get that done before July 1st is our deadline to pay it. I have one question though for the council is we have 15 people that are on summer averaging. This will be our first year for this program. We didn't start it till December. So I believe the software is only going to it's only going to average the usage from January till May maybe. And that's how it's going to work this first year average. But when I'm reading these agreements that these 15 people signed, it says for the monthly sewer bills that were rendered in the months of May, June, July, August, and September. So I need to know when you guys stated rendered, does that mean the bill I mailed out in May, which is their April usage? Or do you want their May usage, which I won't mail out to the end of June?
Right. That's the way I took it. The water they use for May that we bill in June.
So
is-
when we, yeah, so all the months that are stated on the ordinance, those are usage months, not billing months. Is that, everybody agree with that?
Yeah, for those that opened their pools or did a lot of watering in May, they won't realize summer averaging until they get their bill in June for May.
Okay, so I will not start this month on these bills. I'll wait till June.
The bills this month is for usage in April.
Yeah, okay, I need to make sure because billing's coming up in 2 weeks. So I need to get that straight. And lastly, I want to remind everybody that June Boom is Saturday, June 7th at the 4-H Center in Darmstadt. It's free to the public. I know I've had some people complain about the noise, so put your dogs up or your horses or whatever. That's going to be Saturday, June 7th.
Very nice of you.
Very nice.
Okay, that's all I have.
June Boone fireworks show.
It's been on by Mark's Fireworks. They
Okay.
show you what all they have and then try to get everybody behind them.
It's definitely worth going to.
It's a wonderful free show. Yeah, I go every year.
We rained out last year though. Yeah, for a freebie, that's good.
It is.
That's it. All right, Ted. Fire department report. You said you had that.
Oh, that's right. I have that too. Brandon couldn't make it tonight. April was a very slow month for the entire department, not just the Darmstadt town limits. We made 4 calls within the town limits. We had 2 medic calls with a transport to the hospital. 1 power line was down on St. Joe and 1 false alarm. Our average response time was 5 minutes and 10 seconds.
All right. Thank you, Mallory. Sheriff's Department.
We had 7 business checks, a home security check, 3 accidents, 2 neighborhood checks, 1 traffic enforcement, 92 extra patrols, 2 traffic stops, and 4 reports for a burglary, a narcotics report, another burglary, and a theft report.
Do you have the address on these burglaries?
13,301 Darmstadt and 11,751 Old City. sorry. Sorry, they were both the old state. They're two different dates. That doesn't, unless they added more to it, but it's the same house.
Only one house on Oak State. Doesn't be Griggs.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Cecil, maintenance department.
Yes, sir. Maintenance department had 81 locates, 33 service calls since last meeting. Several storms since last meeting. We've had to replace several signs that's been ripped off of their posts. We've replaced the south side sign, dark side sign on St. Joe Avenue now for the third time in like 5 months.
Was the sign still there?
Storm or-
We've got tamper-proof bolts on them. They had to cut the bolts off to get the signs, and we've had to replace them 3 times now. I don't know.
Time to get a
They
trail.
like the signs. I don't know.
Time to get a trail cam.
Yeah, I know, right? They repaired some road edges and some potholes. Started moving to town. There's some ditches that need to be mowed, and they are working on that. And we're also back on the removal of the manholes. And I will say that the manholes that we're going in and eliminating are dry, even after all this rain. So the manholes aren't a major contributor to the I&I that Evansville Water and Sewer Utility is kind of indicating, but that's another story. We're still working with GIS to map our sewer system, and we've got a few glitches, but they're working on to take care of those. We had a new tap in Shadow Bluff, so that's going. I think that's the last lot they have in Shadow Bluff. Got a couple items that Mick has been working on, as well as Aaron, and we're kind of at a dead end. One is the MS4, which is a program for storm water runoff that started back in 2022. I think Paul Freeman kind of asked for basically to be bypassed on this because we don't have a storm sewer. It was denied. And now we have to apply. I've talked to IDEM, Jeremy Ferguson at IDEM. I've also talked to Mr. Stoll, the engineer for area plan, and they have no suggestions for us other than to be compliant with the MS4. And it's well above our pay grade. We got another issue coming up. It's House Bill 1459. That's also kind of stormwater related. And what I'm asking for, I guess, is to be able to contact Westward Engineering to help us set up a program that we have to conform with on both of these MS4s and the House Bill 1459.
This is from the state.
This is from state, MS4 and House Bill 1459.
They're both drainage related, MS4 started a few years ago. And like people said, we try to get out because we don't have storm drainage. I don't know how it would apply to us. Josh, do you have other towns that use special places that already know what they're doing, you know?
No. You know, most of the folks I know that do it are in larger cities, but I do know of a town that does deal with it.
Do they hire engineers?
Yeah, they do. They have a larger staff though. But to your point, they have stormwater. So it is a big deal. I mean, I really get the sense the state is making it a focus, and yet another regulatory burden you guys have to deal with.
I talked to John
Happy to look
Stahl.
into it, but yeah, John would know.
I talked to John Stahl. He told me, he says, I know at one time we tried to co-apply with Evansville. He goes, no, you don't want to do that. He said, just stand alone. He said, but the only reason why we're included on this is our close proximity to Evansville. And I told him, I said, we just have ditches, and we don't have a sewer system for stormwater. He goes, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's ditches that lead to Pigeon Creek that leads to Ohio River. So,
sure Westlers is familiar, they were at the round table.
Yeah, and we've worked with them in the past. I just want, I guess, council's approval to contact them. And
They've been to a meeting or two, I think, recently.
they have, yes.
Yeah, we work, Westlers, Commonwealth is our two main ones we usually work with. Maybe they could give us an estimate first,
I can do that, yes.
you know, just so we don't get sticker shock.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, I've read through the requirements and I'm still at a loss for exactly what we have to do. I have no idea.
Yeah, there's basically an annual report that's nobody on staff currently would want to do, or just to be frank, could do, because there's some engineering expertise, and so I think engaging someone outside would be smart. Price hunting would be good.
Maybe just
Aegis is another one you might contact too. Aegis. Used to be
EGIS.
Dean Longus and Neff. I'd contact them, Westler and Commonwealth. Get some feedback. I mean, all of them. You're pretty well.
Okay. So I'll get that going. And I'd also like the approval to buy 3 more of the check meters that we purchased one of. If that's okay with now, I think they're about $250, $300 a piece. Like to buy a little bit better one, it's a little bit more accurate, but we'll start with those 3 so we can double check the amount of well water that's coming through rather than a guess.
Do we even need to vote on that?
So I guess, do I need to make a motion on that?
The dollar amount's not high enough, is it?
What was the
Or can we just, they're about $250, $300 a piece.
Aaron did buy those.
We just do them, okay, all right. Okay, so we'll take care of those. And that is, all of that.
All right, thank you, Cecil.
Yes, sir.
Resident comments, and I know we have quite a few extra people in here tonight, so if we will, try to keep it as brief as you can, get your point across and things that you want to talk about, but we want to give everybody a chance to talk. So, resident comments. Please also state your name and address so we can record that into the minutes. Yes.
Steve English, 12626 North St. Joseph Avenue. I got your letter, pretty threatening, not really appreciating it. When that house was built by Mr. Timmy, which I believe was on this board, he was denied a sewer tap. That was 21 years ago. Now, 21 years later, you want to force me to get on your sewer? Let's see, I guess it was 4 years ago, I spent about $11,000 upgrading my system. My system's just recently been inspected. I've got no problems, no issues. I'm not violating anybody's code. But I get a letter from the town that I gotta be on your system. So, I mean, what do you want from me?
The state has an ordinance on that we are following.
Yes, it's an Indiana Clean Water Act it pretty much mirrors our ordinance. Our ordinance 1987 has always stated that if you're within 300 feet of an acceptable sewer line, then you have to tap in. Now that Indiana's got the Clean Water Act, they're forcing us basically to police our ordinance. But I believe there is an out on this ordinance, is there not? I mean, the Clean Water Act, if their field bed is within, I guess, standards.
Here are the general exemptions, and I will say, I don't know how the recipient list was determined. Was it just all residents that are currently on?
Yes.
So I think this was a blanket letter, as I understand it. I think as memory serves, I don't have the letter in front of me, but I think it was pretty clear that here are exemptions. If you do not apply,
There are exemptions, but they were not provided on the letter
I
as
know-
they should have been.
Now, I know at least one of those was, I know the 300 feet was
That's the only one.
Right, but that
So
says,
here's some of the exemptions that would apply. And let me say this as a general rule about why the law is what it is. Both the federal government and the state of Indiana is very concerned about the environmental problems, understandably, of raw sewage being in neighborhoods, seeping into water supply, et cetera. And so, to some degree, the federal government, but especially the state of Indiana, has put pretty onerous rules in terms of when you have to connect to a sewer system if you're able to. But they recognize there needs to be some sensible exemptions. One of those is if you are on 10 acres or more. And the reason for that being is if your septic system fails on 10 acres, it's pretty hard to hurt or contaminate people outside that 10 acres, right? It's big enough to contain whatever type of problem there may be. The other is if you're so far away from a sewer line, it kind of becomes cost prohibitive, and that's where that 300 feet rule is. If your property line is 300 feet or more away from a sewer line, you are exempt. And the final one, which typically is in place for regional sewer districts, as I understand it, the town may honor this. And that is if you have a working septic system and you get it inspected and prove that it's working, and importantly that it was new when it went in, then you are exempt. Now, this is a policy decision for this town board. I don't know what you guys' position will be. A lot of sewer districts will take the position that once that fails, you can't put a new one in, you have to connect. And the reason being because, one, if it fails, the town doesn't know if it fails, it just a desire to get people on the sewer system. Again, that is a policy decision, and I haven't had a chance to talk about that with the town council. I don't want to put them on the spot, so but that, how you want to handle in the future is a question mark. But generally speaking, when you first start reaching out to people and put them on notice, if you have one that's functioning, it's not like, hey, I've got a septic system that's 3 years old, I got to yank it out and stop using it.
well,
That's
then you kind of understand my position here. I mean, it looked
Well,
really
I hope you understand what I'm saying is then that means you're exempt, right? If
I don't know, because there ain't a list of
if you can prove it, that it is exempt. I mean, and that's all, with the licensed inspector, then you've sort of taken care of the environmental concerns that are really behind the law, if that makes sense.
Okay. So, I mean, council, how many addresses do we have that are affected by this?
It's about 22.
About 22
22.
amongst all the
Better
districts?
to know.
Of all districts, yes. Yes, there's some that's not on our sewer system, but they're not within 300 feet. So, we had to go down through there and I think there was some concern before. There was some notices sent out, but a lot of them weren't within 300 feet. So we went down through it and meticulously went down and made sure that everybody that we sent letters to were within 300 feet. So, and that is being done. We're sending them out in phases because, I mean, if you hadn't had your septic system checked and redone and it's in great shape, of course, we don't know that.
Right.
So we obviously can't have 22 people come through our through our sewer department and meet the timelines of installing your sewer system
All at once.
So we're breaking them down, and you unfortunately were in my area because I didn't want people to think I was picking on everybody else's and not my own district.
Well, Eric, aren't you my rep?
Yeah, but you're right down the road from me.
Okay.
So that's the reason why you were in the first group. So I apologize for that.
Well, you just want to keep me close to you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to keep it close.
You're such a nice guy.
Not really.
Now, Josh, on the question that I don't know the answer to, on the inspections of these septic systems, the field beds, how
So-
often are they to be inspected?
Well, that is good. That's a good question. I think it may be 10 years. Let me find that. I can find that out. We can post it on the town website. We can get that.
Yeah, we need all the exemptions listed, so.
I agree,
we also
yeah.
know.
The news.
Mallory's absolutely right.
The newsletter,
You're
right,
right.
even
No,
listed.
from the inspection.
Probably inspected upon installation.
I mean, most of these
Yes.
homes
Yeah.
have working septic tanks and systems, so aren't they gonna be exempt?
Or.
But we don't know what
as
the
they continue-
exemptions are.
And it is 10 years from the date it was installed. After that, you can apply for 2 additional 5-year extensions. And so the bottom line is, from the time it was installed, that exemption really lasts a maximum of 20 years. The thought process behind those who wrote that law is that after 20 years, the viability of those septic systems becomes far more questionable. And the inspection by law has to be either by the county health department or their designee. I confess, I don't know how Vanderburgh does it, but many counties, for instance, Warwick and Spencer, will have a list of approved inspectors, and you just call them up and they'll say, here's, in Vanderburgh, I'm sure there's probably 15 or 20. Unfortunately, I think Spencer County has like 2 or 3. But I'm sure here there's plenty. Okay, I take that back, there's 5. So I overestimated, but still there's, call and have somebody else come out, they'll inspect it, you bring it back here and say, okay, this works. And again, that'll be good but that's why you have to prove when it was put in too. And your permit that when it was put in will be on file at the county if not, because that's going to tell you how long that exemption is good for. And if it's beyond 10 years, again, you could go back and then have it re-inspected for 2 additional 5-year periods, so you have a total of 20 altogether from the time it was installed.
So, Eric, do you not remember our conversation on May 5?
I remember talking, and I had a note in my phone.
Oh, you never called me back.
I know I didn't, and I do not remember what, because I saw that several times, and I thought, I should have called you back to find out what it was specifically. I honestly didn't forget what it was we talked about that I was supposed to find out.
Yeah, you said that I asked you several questions. 2 of them you said you didn't have the answer. You said you would find out and you would call me back.
Okay.
And I never heard from you.
Are these questions you're asking tonight?
Well, yeah, I kind of got them answered tonight. You told me come to the meeting, so I did.
Okay. The
But,
thing is, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I was looking up to you being my rep.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about this I don't know.
I understand. That's why I asked.
Yeah,
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not coming here looking for a fight, but
no, we're good.
come on, man. I thought we were friends. I asked you a question. You said you was going to find out, and I never heard nothing back.
Yeah, and that's on me, and I apologize. I did have a note in my phone, and I should have just called you to find out what it was. I didn't want to look dumb, but I think I look dumber now. So,
I don't expect you to know everything. I really don't. One of the statements you made to me was that you guys have no training for the positions that you're in. I get it. Who does? You were elected to that position. That's not something you did beforehand.
and yeah, there's a lot, and in this situation, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. I'm in the same position. I don't like government coming along forcing things.
Especially in this day and time with everything that's going on. I mean, come on. Really? I have a perfectly functioning, good system.
Do
And
you know how old your system is?
4 years.
Okay. Well, I mean, with all due respect, it sounds like you have an exemption, and so if you just convert that, we're good to go.
But when I went and read your code, it said that those exemptions were to be listed in the letter that was provided, and they weren't.
We didn't know what the.
I didn't know what the exemptions were. That's why.
Come to the meeting.
Okay.
Come to the meeting like the rest
Well,
of us.
yeah, but
Well, that's
Now
what
you-
I
now
was
you
told
know. I
by
mean,
my
so
rep, and
I-
here I
But
am.
it says they're supposed to be listed in the letter.
The code specifically states that. Okay, let's move on. We're good.
Tom?
Yeah, Tom and Karen Egermeyer, 13525 North St. Joe Avenue. We had applied for a sewer tap in '99, and we were denied, and it's in your minutes. We have our letter from the attorney, who was Doug Welp at the time, about the denial. But what I thought was interesting, if you are gonna send out more letters, I think it would be beneficial if you put in there that you did improvements. I mean, I know there's 4 of us, at least on St. Joe Avenue, that this letter has demanded us get on your sewer system. Have improvements been made on St. Joe Avenue to allow all of us to connect? Because at that time, we were not allowed on it.
Right.
Because you did not have the capability to handle it.
Correct.
So has there been improvements made?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are those improvements?
Well, basically, we started an inspection program probably 3 years ago where we're pumping out septic tanks. We're inspecting pump stations that have not been done on a widespread basis in the past. We've done this, and it's opened up capacity throughout the town. So that's the sewer system right now. It's probably in better shape than what it was when it's first installed.
Well, my notes from my meeting back then was that the pump station at the end of Sensmeyer Road was overcapacitated. So has there been a larger pump? Have you dropped in a larger pump there since then?
I can find out, but right off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
I just don't think it makes sense to demand people to get on it if you can't handle the capacity.
And we wouldn't do that if we couldn't. I mean, everywhere in town right now, we have the capacity to take on everyone that's in the town. Now, of course, some of them are beyond that 300 feet, so you know, that's, but yeah, if they wanted to get on the town sewer system, we could do it. We have no restrictions on our sewer system right now, none at all.
Thank you.
So, and that's largely in part to our sewer superintendent right now, doing what should have been done since they've installed the system.
Why is there always such a foul sewer smell over at the Vanderbilt County Fairgrounds?
That's Evansville, Water and Sewer Utilities, pump. We go through every now and again, and we were told not to. We seal that lid so it doesn't smell bad, and it doesn't smell bad for a while. And then Evansville Water and Sewer Utilities come by, and they'll read that meter, and they'll leave the cover unsealed again.
Well, I think he's telling you that.
What's that?
We were having a little discussion because he walks over there.
I walk over there and it's a gag-o-matic within.
It's bad. It's bad. And we were told by Evansville Water and Sewer Utility to leave their covers alone.
But you're saying that they're not on right or on properly?
They just don't seal them. I mean, for some strange reason. I mean, we will go through there and it takes 5 minutes to do. And we were instructed not to mess with their covers.
So how up to date are you schedule-wise on pumping tanks?
We are on the inspection of we're required by IDEM to inspect 20% of all septic tanks a year. So within 5 years, we will have all septic tanks pumped if they need it. And we inspect every pump station a year. Each year, we inspect all pump stations.
And each tank is supposed to be pumped on a routine cycle of?
It's 20, like I said, within a 5-year period, we will inspect every septic tank. Now, every septic tank doesn't need to be pumped out. I mean, we've had some that hasn't been pumped out for 10, 15 years, and they still don't need to be pumped out. I mean, you know, the bacteria doing the job, it just doesn't need to be. We look at the mat, and if the mat's in great shape, we don't pump them out. But if they are, we'll pump them out, and that's on the town. We pay for that pump out.
Yeah, you mentioned, pump stations also, not to be confused with the septic tanks.
Right.
The pump stations, you say, get inspected every year.
Every year, we make one complete cycle of inspection of pump stations.
Yeah, he was talking about, you're talking about tanks, you're talking about stations.
Right, and I think you had mentioned stations.
Well, okay, well, if I did, my mistake, but no, we inspect every pump station in town every year. 20% of the septic tanks are inspected every year. So within a 5-year period, every septic tank in town will be inspected and pumped if necessary.
So this system actually is just a gray water system, is that
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
So it's not a true septic system where you're
No, it
taking
is not.
sewage directly for, like they do in town.
You're right. No, it's just gray water.
Was that how it was from word go, from the
Yes.
beginning?
Yes.
That's back in Roger Steinpool days?
In 86, 87, I think.
87.
So if we get an inspection of our field bed and everything, and Vanderburgh County says we have a perfectly working system,
We can go.
Okay.
So like
Well,
Josh
how
said,
is
you,
it?
you got 10 years after the initial install, and then you got 2 5-year extensions.
we got denied in 2000.
Oh.
But
So
if
what
it's
do
a,
you-
if it's a perfectly working system on 5+ acres,
But it's 20 years old.
if I get the inspection,
Yeah. You get the inspection, right?
What do we do with the inspection once you get it? I mean, we have to bring it to a
Bring
meeting,
it to Aaron, our sewer superintendent.
or we don't need to bring it to a meeting, we need to give it to Aaron.
Please don't bring it to the meeting, just bring it to Aaron.
Cecil, I'll give it to you.
Oh, you can bring it to me.
Okay.
It's 20 years old, you have to, whether it's working or not, that's EPA guidelines. My opinion.
Robert Getty, 11707 North St. Joe Avenue. So I was denied in November of 23 for a tap and put in my own system. So I'm over the 20 years, but my concern is, and the lady earlier expressed the concern about capacity, and I realized that improvements have been made, but it's like, what's the safeguard? It could very well be that if we get on the system and we're over capacity, I mean, I see the red lights come on when there's heavy downfalls of rain, and I could understand the council coming back and saying, hey, last on, first off, you need to put in that. I mean, we have no guarantees that the service is going to be. Is the town council going to offer any guarantees? With the extra,
I'm sorry, but
what is the town council offering as far as this extra capacity that's going to be put on the system for which we were initially denied? I mean, if we have extra places coming on the system and all of a sudden we're over capacity again, what are we left to do? Our options are option one, spend more money. And so my question is the council prepared to offer any safeguards that we won't be over capacity and forced off the system again?
Mallory, on the sewer system, how many active accounts? It's like 550, 540? So another 22 would only be 4%. A 4% addition to the system, and I don't think 4% is enough to.
And it sounds like several of these may be exempted, so. it may not
Yeah.
be that many.
But if there's 4 districts in our town, that could be upwards of 100 big taps being put in.
I think it was 22 overall. wasn't it?
overall,
22 in the
Overall,
entire.
In the entire, I thought you would just.
no,
say
just
district.
in my district, there was only 3. So I had to spill over to Eric's to get another 2 so we could send them out in groups of 5. But as far as guaranteeing that we'll never be over capacity, I mean, I can't give you that guarantee. I can't guarantee you right now that we could probably double what we got right now and not be over capacity. You see the red lights come on, and that's probably after a good heavy rain
Mhm.
where the I&I is getting into the system and that pump station's pumping more. That's when that red light would come on, or if you have a power failure. But as far as being over capacity, I just don't see it, not the size of our town.
Oh, I'm sorry, what's I?
Water infiltration, surface
Inflow
water
and
getting to our
infiltration.
system.
inflow and infiltration. Most cities and towns have that, and just work on it constantly.
So I really don't see a capacity problem at all.
Any other residents? Okay, moving on to old business. Josh, I believe this is you, sir.
Well, you guys have all been on the communication here. We have what I think are some well-founded concerns about how accurate the meters are handling Darmstadt's feed into the Evansville water sewer utility system. My remaining questions, however, and that's not to say I've got all the answers to that, but I feel comfortable that we have a legitimate concern. My questions relate to the rates that were being charged. There's a lot of smoke, but and I'm happy to say this, I just don't see the specific fire, and so we have engaged, as you know. First, you guys engaged Reedy some time ago. Reedy's response in their letter was that there is some open questions that they had. I called them. They said, look, we didn't see anything specific that was wrong. There was just a lot of unanswered questions. I felt like we pushed them to continue helping. No disrespect to them, but we didn't really get they weren't hooked to continue helping us, so we've now engaged Buzz. I still don't feel like we're getting good definitive answers from him. So I think we need to push back on him. I mean, he keeps saying he needs more information. I think we just sent him some. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, at some point, he either needs to give us an answer, or we potentially try somebody else. I don't know, but I guess maybe that's what we do. We just hold the speeds in the fire. But that, before we can act, obviously, I want more definitive answers on that issue, right?
You saw this last bill,
Yeah.
right? This was the largest bill we've ever been billed in the history of the town from Evansville Sewer.
With not much
It was
rainfall.
$51,000 we had to pay for last month. We've never had to pay that. They said our sewage outflow was 4.5 billion gallons, which is unheard of. We've never had that much. Those meters have got to be off.
With a lot of rainfall. I mean, and it just ironically ties into 3 emails that we sent Evansville Water and Sewer Utility about their mag meters being unusually high readings with no reply from them.
Well, I will push back on Buzz, but I'd encourage you guys to as well. I mean, the dialogue is open there, so push back. And, again, I want to make sure, I don't like this languishing, this issue. And
how long has he been working on it?
That's a good question.
It's been good.
Are we going to get a really large bill from him?
Really? Oh, I haven't seen
him do anything yet.
I mean, it's been over, it was before last meeting, right?
Oh, yeah, it's been.
And we don't have anything of production yet. No. Do we have somebody else we could?
Well, I wasn't gonna engage somebody.
I'm all
else.
for it. We need somebody that's gonna get it done, give it attention, work on it until it's solved. No more skip every meeting. That's my opinion. I don't know how the other guys feel.
I agree.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. I
Especially if
agree.
these bills are $51,000.
Yeah.
Our sewer checking account balance is plummeting right now.
Yeah.
We had over $500,000 just a few months ago. We're down to $350,000. And a $50,000 monthly bill puts a huge dent in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Who does their calibrations?
Well, that's the issue.
Yes, that's what we have been.
Do they have just them or a second party?
They're only doing half the calibrations.
Oh, okay.
They're not doing what we keep asking them to do.
There you go.
Yeah, they got a meter down the pit and they got another one up top.
Right.
And they're only calibrating 1/2 of it.
Okay.
This is for the
Yeah.
manufacturer of the flow meter.
Right.
These are those 2 mag meters you were just talking about that smells.
Mag flows,
But there's one on each side of the 4-H center. So those are the 2.
Okay, on to new business contractor for weed ordinance lawn mowing cleanup. And
I think Russ has decided he could do this now, didn't he?
Yeah, at first Mick contacted me and asked me to put this on the agenda because they were having a hard time finding someone to mow the lawns that are weed ordinance violations. We usually don't get that very often. I think the last time we had to do that was like 4 years ago. But now we have a property or two that may be in violation. Russ said he was pretty busy and wouldn't be able to squeeze it in, but last minute he said he could. So Mick just wants a list from the council of companies. Okay, if Russ Bittner can't do it, who's the next one to call?
Shouldn't we kind of let him do that?
I would think, I think he thinks he needs to ask the judge.
I think, I mean, he's our superintendent. I think he could do that.
It just needs to not, it can't be him because he has a long haircut.
Right.
Sure. But
Definitely.
this needs to be a
I'll talk.
good long haircut, maybe like an end.
I'll talk to Mick and I'll have him, just whoever he wants.
Yeah.
Russ be number one and then have a fallback.
And I'll send them the letter and stuff, and Josh can write a letter, whatever you guys want to do.
What's the ordinance on weeds? How tall does it have to be?
9 inches.
And then how do you decide who gets it? You have to have someone call and turn them in.
Someone has to.
Someone has complaints, we will, and then we'll go out and red flag it. And then we'll send the owner of the house, if it's a rental or whoever, we'll send them a letter.
The way it's been raining, it's kind of hard to stay up with.
It is.
Wildfire right now.
Yeah.
While you're on that, right across the road here, that farmland, I talked to the owner about nobody's farming. In fact, I talked to his.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the one that goes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's gonna try to get somebody else. But he's talking about 4-H center wants it, but they want him to donate it. They want another interest at the 4-H center.
Really?
We sure the hell don't want an interest over here tying up Point Road. But anyway, they're gonna try to get another farmer to farm it. You heard anything on that? About
I haven't heard.
the 4-H center?
I have not heard anything on that.
That's what the owner told me.
You got a tractor?
He wasn't gonna donate it, he was gonna give them a set figure.
Yeah.
But I hear they got other problems besides land problems.
How many acres is that? How many acres is that? How many acres is that?
I think with the house and all is 19, probably farm about 15. I just don't want to be growing up all the time, you know?
I know a young guy.
Either.
I know this is a little out of order, but one more question, if I may, on the septic. What prompted the attention to the septic? Was there something from the state saying, hey, you need to get in compliance here? Or what prompted the county, excuse me, not the county, but the town council to start taking action concerning?
Just a new town council. We've been on for just over a year now.
Yes.
And just trying to find out what it is we're supposed to be doing. Follow the rules of the state and their ordinances and so forth. And just try to be clean like we're supposed to be. And in past other councils, you know, and Steve pointed out to me, you know, and it's no front page news, there's really no training for this. It's a popularity contest to get elected no matter what you are. And you don't have to be qualified to be elected to anything. You have to just take an interest and try to learn. But just try to learn and do the best we can with what we know. Steve, did you have a question?
I encourage everybody, you guys get something to write with? You may want to look up IC 13-26-5-2.5.
What was that? I see 13.
13-26-5-25. Part D. You may want to look that up.
I believe that's the Indiana code that the council was referencing for the time limit of 10 years with 2 additional 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
But
Ain't gonna hurt to look at it.
Okay, on the weed ordinance, we covered everything we needed on that. Is that right, Cecil?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we have.
On to performance evaluations for street and wastewater superintendents.
Here is Mr. Enlows and Mr. Mormons. So that's the whole evaluation there.
You can read this right now.
You can't go on to. It's got to be approved this month.
Okay,
You don't have to read them.
You don't have to read it.
okay.
He's got to trust me. Okay. And we got to sign it.
Is there anything in particular I need to be doing here or just signing this?
Yeah, the last page.
Okay.
You have to review and you have to approve the bonus amounts. They're allowed to get a bonus up to $1,500.
Bonus amount is shown there.
And their checks have to be closed up to where they are actually clearing them,
Yeah. Yep, I remember you talking about that.
whatever amount you'll choose.
Okay, I will pass these down. Ray, do you want to take a look at these too?
Sure, I'm not seeing any of it.
I thought tonight we were going to schedule the evaluation.
Don't they have to be done this meeting? And approved so that they can come out according to our HR firm.
Yeah, they're supposed to, the bonuses are supposed to be paid the first pay period in May, which was,
Well, they say it has to be approved in a meeting of May, which is, it's now moved back to the third Tuesday.
so when you guys do your performance evaluations, you need to be doing them in April every year, so that when you get done as a council, meeting with the superintendents and completing the evaluation as a group, then the completed evaluations come in front of the public town council meeting where you vote and approve on the bonuses.
So then with
The money,
HR needs to change their rules in.
yeah, the money is what needs to be voted on at the public meeting. Just so it's on record, so when I put those checks, they.
I'll show you what our HR firm says needs to be done, because I followed it to the letter.
So they need to be done in April, then we can vote on it in May.
So you have plenty of time. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so, yeah, I can do whatever.
Our payroll ordinance says it's supposed to be done the first pay period.
Or whoever does this thing.
The bonus, not the evaluation.
I see.
The one that he just said, that only applies to regional sewer districts. There's a separate one for municipal, which is us, so that one does not apply to them, so.
Yeah, I got this one here.
Yeah, that's Darmstadt's.
That's Darmstadt. This
You
is,
guys,
no, I thought it was President of God.
I didn't hear.
Do we need to vote on this first before signing, or just sign, or what?
This is one that actually applies to.
I guess we can go wrong by voting on it.
It's just a little different than.
Means asking for the full round.
yeah, well, you're gonna, if you agree, then you need to go and sign on that, all the council members, before I can pay you.
With this one here, yeah, well, the other one doesn't apply. He said it applies to, I guess, probably a larger municipality, maybe, I'm not sure.
So I'll pass just this one down.
Okay, Cecil, it sounds like we need to have a motion on the floor and a vote to approve this.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to accept the performance evaluations as written?
I'd like to make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the performance evaluations as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. On to attorney comments. John.
I feel like I've talked too much tonight.
Board member comments.
Man, I'm sitting up too.
And And I don't have anything myself, Ray.
The only thing I have is I know Josh is gonna find somebody new, and just to give that as much time as you can. To keep it moving. That's all I have.
Okay.
Got something going on.
Got a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
I think it's
I was trying to find it.
Well, what he's saying is